Dark Persuasion Tactics Used in Relationships. Love is humanity's oldest story. It builds families, kingdoms, dynasties. It starts wars. It ends them. But in the shadows of romance lies something darker, something that can twist passion into chains, loyalty into leverage, and trust into a weapon. This is persuasion in its most dangerous form. Not in politics, not in advertising, but in love. Tonight, we step into the hidden world of dark persuasion tactics used in relationships. How they infiltrate your emotions, how they convince you to agree against your own best interests, and why the person pulling your strings may not be a stranger at all, but the one who whispers "I love you" at night. To understand why persuasion thrives in relationships, you need to know what happens to the human brain when we fall in love. Neuroscience of love, dopamine and oxytocin spike, lowers skepticism, raises bonding and trust. Biological vulnerability, your brain wants connection, lowers defenses. The paradox, the closer you are to someone, the more dangerous their persuasion becomes. A stranger can trick your logic, but someone you love can bypass your logic completely, accessing your deepest instincts. Cleopatra and Caesar. Cleopatra wasn't just beautiful, she was strategic. She convinced Caesar not only to support her politically, but to risk Rome's wrath. She reframed her survival as his destiny. Love was the wrapping, persuasion was the core. The lesson: in love, persuasion doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like intimacy. Persuasion isn't magic, it's engineering. Every manipulator knows, if you want to move someone, you pull the emotional levers hidden inside them. The 4 emotional levers in relationships. 1. Guilt. If you loved me, you'd do this for me. 2. Fear of abandonment. The silent threat. If you won't, maybe someone else will. 3. Obligation. After everything I've done for you, this is the least you can do. 4. Conditional affection. Love that arrives only when you comply. The perfect partner trap. A 2010 psychology experiment. Participants were more willing to make sacrifices when framed as proof of love. Over time, the requests grew bigger. The compliance grew automatic. Think about your own life. Have you ever agreed to something you didn't want, just to keep the peace? That wasn't compromise. That was persuasion wearing the mask of love. Every relationship runs on rules. Some are spoken, most are not. These silent contracts are where persuasion thrives. Examples of silent contracts. We don't talk about our problems in front of friends. You'll always take my side, no matter what. We spend every holiday with my family, not yours. These contracts aren't negotiated. They're persuaded into existence. Introduced as small requests, reinforced with praise when obeyed, and punished with distance when broken. And Jim Jones of Jonestown wasn't just a cult leader. He was a partner, lover, and manipulator. He persuaded intimate partners into silence, loyalty, and complicity. And when love became the leash, persuasion became the chain. It's easy to spot manipulation from a stranger. Harder when it comes from the one person you trust most. Why do some fall deeper into persuasion traps than others? The answer lies in vulnerabilities. Attachment insecurity. Fear of being left makes you compliant. Low self-esteem. Compliance becomes proof of worth. Love bombing effect. Overwhelming affection lowers critical thinking. But persuasion isn't all powerful. It works only when it finds a crack in your armor. If you can recognize the cracks, your fear of being alone, your hunger for approval, your need to prove love, you can seal them. And when the cracks close, persuasion loses its grip. Next, we open the Persuader's Playbook. We will dissect the exact techniques lovers, manipulators, and predators use to infiltrate relationships. From love bombing to gaslighting, from reciprocity traps to emotional blackmail. And we'll reveal the chilling truth. You may already be mistaking control for love, without even realizing it. Now, we dissect the manipulator's playbook. The hidden tactics lovers, predators, and narcissists use to bend their partners to their will. Some are obvious, most are invisible, but together, they form a system so effective, entire lives can be controlled by it. Tactic 1. Love bombing. The playbook begins with love bombing. The manipulator floods you with affection, attention, and praise. It feels like destiny, like you've finally been seen. But this isn't love. It's a hook. Overwhelming gestures, constant texts, gifts, declarations, a brain effect, dopamine surge, addiction-like bond. Hidden cost sets the standard that you must earn this love to keep it. Manson love-bombed recruits, convincing them they were special. Within months, they would kill for him. Love wasn't genuine. It was a weapon of persuasion. Love bombing isn't romance. It's the down payment on your obedience. Tactic 2. Gaslighting. Once the hook is set, the manipulator rewrites reality. This is gaslighting, the systematic erosion of your confidence in your own perception. The common forms: denying events, trivializing feelings, reframing lies as misunderstandings. Psychological effect: cognitive dissonance. You question your own sanity, so you lean harder on theirs. Con artist Anna Sorokin manipulated friends by denying contradictions, reframing reality. Even victims admitted later, "I thought I was crazy." Think back. Has anyone ever told you you're too sensitive? And until you started to believe it? That's gaslighting in miniature. Tactic 3. Intermittent reinforcement. Manipulators know constant rewards breed comfort. Intermittent rewards breed obsession. Borrowed from gambling psychology, random affection creates addictive bonds. Victim never knows when love will appear, works harder for it. Researchers found people in unstable relationships reported stronger attachment, not weaker. The uncertainty itself became persuasive, hooking partners deeper. It's not love you're chasing, it's the relief from withdrawal. Tactic 4. Isolation. Next, the manipulator cuts off competing voices, friends, family, anyone who might break the spell. Excuses: they don't understand us. And subtle shaming: why do you care what your friends think? And over time, the partner's world shrinks until only the manipulator remains. Survivors revealed he systematically isolated them, limiting contact with families, controlling communication. Persuasion thrived in the silence of isolation. Persuasion grows in darkness. The less light from the outside, the stronger the grip inside. Tactic 5. The reciprocity trap. Every manipulator knows the law of reciprocity. When someone gives to you, you feel compelled to give back. Overgifting early on, silent debt. Later, after all I've done for you, this is the least you can do. The gift becomes the chain. In online scams, con artists send small gifts first. Victims later send thousands, believing they're returning loyalty. Remember, genuine love is free. If affection comes with an invoice, it isn't love, it's persuasion. Tactic 6. Fear and threat. When softer tactics fail, the manipulator escalates to fear. This doesn't always mean violence. Fear of abandonment, fear of exposure, fear of shame, it all works. Example: if you leave me, I'll tell everyone your secrets. Or, without me, you'll never survive. Fear locks compliance when love fails. Cult leader Keith Raniere mixed intimacy with blackmail. Partners complied, not from love, but fear of exposure. Fear keeps the door shut, but identity, the belief that you are more than what they define, can kick it open. The persuader's playbook is chilling not because it's rare, but because it's everywhere. In partners, in friends, in family. Love bombing, gaslighting, isolation, fear. These tactics weave together until persuasion feels like devotion. But what happens when you realize the strings are there? Can you cut them? Can you break free? Next, we expose the defenses, how to spot persuasion before it takes hold, how to confront it without losing yourself, and most importantly, how to reclaim your freedom. Up until now, we've studied persuasion as if trapped inside it, seeing its machinery, feeling its weight. But now is different. This is not the manipulator's story. This is yours. This is the chapter where the chains are broken and the prison walls start to crack. Tonight we learn how to defend against dark persuasion and walk free. Step 1. Awareness. Naming the game. The first defense is awareness, because persuasion thrives in shadows. When you name it, it begins to lose its power. Label tactics in real time. That's love bombing. That's gaslighting. The act of naming shifts control back to you. Brain effect moves the experience from emotional brain, amygdala, to rational brain, prefrontal cortex. One woman in an abusive persuasion cycle said her freedom began the day she whispered to herself, "This is manipulation." That single word reframed everything. Naming is the first cut of the blade. Step 2. Emotional anchoring. The manipulator thrives on destabilizing your emotions. So, you must build anchors, unshakable emotional reference points. Keep journals to document reality against gaslighting. Store affirmations or truths from trusted allies. And return to sensory anchors, music, photos, objects, tied to your identity outside the relationship. Cult deprogramming. Survivors often recovered by re-anchoring themselves in childhood music, foods, or routines. Reminders of selfhood before manipulation. Anchors are lifelines. Each one reminds you, you existed before them. You will exist after them. Step 3. The power of boundaries. Persuasion weakens where boundaries strengthen. Manipulators test limits because blurred lines are easier to cross. Practical defense. Clear, non-negotiable boundaries. Example: I will not discuss this when you're raising your voice. Boundary isn't a request, it's a line. Manipulators' world, control without boundaries. Your defense, life built on them. Therapist's advice. Survivors who enforced small boundaries, like reclaiming time for friends, often built momentum to leave fully. Every no is a brick in your fortress. Step 4. The circle of reality. Isolation is persuasion's greatest ally. To break the spell, you need a circle of reality. Trusted voices beyond the manipulator. Strategy. Reconnect with family, friends, even if briefly. Seek external counsel, therapists, support groups, and social proof effect. Realizing multiple voices confirm your reality weakens gaslighting. Online support groups. Many survivors of persuasion-based abuse first broke free when they joined anonymous forums. Reading others' identical experiences shattered the illusion of uniqueness. When you hear your story spoken by another's lips, you remember you are not alone. Step 5. Rebuilding identity. Persuasion works by eroding identity. To escape, you must rebuild it. Write out core values. Explore independent passions, hobbies, work, friendships, and reconnect with dreams abandoned in the relationship. Survivor's Renaissance. One survivor of a controlling marriage rebuilt her life by returning to painting her childhood passion. And the art wasn't just healing, it was rebellion against manipulation. Where they erased, you rewrite. Where they silenced, you sing. Step 6. The hardest cut, walking away. There is one truth most don't want to face. Sometimes the only way to win is to walk. Persuasion thrives on proximity. Distance is freedom's fuel. Cutting ties is hardest when emotional hooks are deepest. Fear of loneliness often outweighs fear of control, but survival requires separation. The no-contact rule. Survivors who enforced strict no-contact policies, blocking calls, emails, messages, reported the fastest recovery. Like breaking an addiction, withdrawal hurts, but clarity follows. Walking away feels like death, but it is resurrection. Dark persuasion thrives where love is twisted into a chain, but love, in its purest form, doesn't control. It doesn't isolate. It doesn't demand. Real love sets you free, and if someone has to break you to keep you, they never loved you at all. You now hold the toolkit, awareness, anchors, boundaries, reality, identity, and the courage to walk away. This was Dark Persuasion Tactics in Relationships. Here's the deal. If you've ever seen these tactics up close, comment your story. If you know someone still trapped, share this video with them right now. And if you never want to fall for manipulation again, subscribe, because the next episode may save you before it happens. Next time, we turn the lens to an even deadlier mask, the toxic charmer. How charm itself, smiles, laughter, charisma becomes the most dangerous disguise of all.